was watching Pablo Torre Finds Out. They do one of their weekly kind of just hangout episodes, and they asked a fascinating question that I now want to pass on to you, but I want to put it through the Penn State lens. They were pondering. It was him, Mina Kimes, and I forget who the third guest was, or second person was. They were pondering this question: who is the coolest sport person in sports? Like, who is the coolest athlete? And so I want to take that a step further, localize that a little bit. Who is the coolest?
Current or ever?
We can keep this open because I have a list of names over here, and it's broad and open, and it's kind of interesting because we could sit here and put a lot of different parameters on it. So I've left it broad and open, but I want to get your honest reaction. Would you like me to give some of my names?
Sure, but wait, give me the question. So who is the coolest Penn State athlete?
Yeah. Like
and it's not ever, it's just open.
Open. All current.
Okay, give me yours because mine's not going to be on your list. So go ahead.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names that I could feasibly come up with. Two of which are basketball players. The rest are football players.
Okay, I don't know that either one of my first two would be a football player.
Ooh,
so go ahead.
Okay, all right. The first name that came down to mind, Rosie Greer.
Okay.
For
good answer. Good old school answer from you. But
for being an actor, being Bobby Kennedy's bodyguard, and tackling Sirhan. Just an absolutely fascinating person. Hopefully one day future guest, Michael Robinson. I just think like the coolest athlete of my Penn State youth, I think.
Okay.
Is what I came up with. Maggie Lucas, probably the coolest Lady Lion ever. Like she was awesome. She was a lot of fun to watch.
Okay.
And just had like this attitude about her. Marcus Allen, probably the coolest, most recent Penn State athlete, with the famous Joe Herman image of him hovering over the pick guy and the safety. Just the Black Beetle video. The now becoming a model. I actually thought of someone else too, so I'm changing it to 7.
Okay.
Alex Bentley. Always on our podcast, just absolute swagger, just like was cool, just like cool, like was Jared Odrick, similar to Rosie Greer, doing some fascinating things, and then Miles Chamley Watson, the Olympian fencer, but also has like the Red Bull sponsorship, which is just objectively cool to have a Red Bull sponsorship.
Okay, I like Alex Bentley. Okay. There is a swagger there. There's a cool there. The first person that came to mind was Shane Conlon. Because in 86, right? Shane was, it was cool. Like he was the linebacker, right? Even at linebacker he was the linebacker. And ironically enough, the also cool, but like the bad guy cool to counter Shane at the same time was Trey Bauer, right? Like, there was like goody two shoes, strong linebacker, and there was a guy who was going to pop off linebacker. It felt like Shane and Trey filled those roles. I think you'd get a lot of votes for Bo Nickel in terms of cool. Just in terms of attitude and maybe
I overlooked the wrestling guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe more so than him. Maybe it's David Taylor, right? In terms of,
I don't think David Taylor's cool to Penn Staters anymore. I think.
Well, that's true. But as a Penn Stater, he was. There's probably another. Maybe Zane, right, with his walkout music and just being a stone cold killer out there.
Carter, I think I would put on that with the Mike Myers or Halloween.
And then when you mentioned Rosie, I went back and maybe thought of Mike Reed, right? Just because
another name
all the off field stuff and gives up his career to go do some other career. So yeah, this is funny. I was thinking, we need to do like a poll thing somewhere along the line of what's the cool kid. That's great. Yeah. But yeah, those would be I think Shane would be top of. Michael Robinson was good, is good, and I see where that fits. But I think Shane, like for me, like he just was. Okay. There was as a freshman, right, larger than life. Like, sure. To your wife's point, he's probably selling insurance or dead. If we're talking about people who are
bitter about that.
My first football game.
Yeah.
So we talked about doing something for the first football game. We reflected on our first football games, and we could do guests from our first football game as a Penn State student. And Darian's wife Anna said, "Well, from Steve's game, those people are either dead or selling insurance now." So Maybe she's not wrong. I should probably go back and look and see if there's obits for those people.
Um,
I'm sure Shane is alive and kicking.
was Kerry Collins cool, or
I wasn't.
was he the second coolest behind Kajana Carter on that team?
See, I was working then, right? Like, so I didn't feel them as cool.
Okay.
Because I was covering them, so I don't know, and I didn't deal with them. I wasn't here.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I watched from afar, so I don't know that from. And that's what I was trying to think about people that I like to deal with. Like Alex was good in terms of that. Lauren Walseth was cool. Like in a just scarily honest way. Like, and then Helen Darling. Helen Darling is my favorite story from when I cover stuff. She was cool because she was unfailingly honest. I think I've told this story, but we go to the Big Ten championships. I'm covering it. They lose to Purdue in Purdue at the field house, and post game doing the interviews. And I asked a question and she like choked up and didn't finish it. And then the moderator wanted to go on the next question. She's like, no, wait, just give me a second. I want to answer that. Right. And I thought that was cool. Like as a person who was older but still doing the job, I respected that. So there was a coolness there in terms of demeanor.
I was trying to think about women's volleyball. Mike Hancock is always going to rank high on my list. She was cool. Haley Washington was cool too. Is cool.
Yeah, there were a couple of them there were several of them that had swagger there. That just, yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah. So, okay. But I feel like we came up with a comprehensive list there, right? Like there's probably someone we're missing.
For quick whatever, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that are missing and people would go on. So when you chime in, share us and let us know.
Thank you. Okay.